They waited till they got the right day, sometime in March. They had Shedway picked out. They left it there till they got the right day. And they put on 152 logs. Jimmy Cole was the man that drove the team, a great team that the company brought down here at the mountain. And Tom McLeod and Johnny Ross, you might have Johnny.
Yeah.
And I forget who else
Loaded.
loaded it. We had the picture at home there, I don't know where it is now.
I never drew that many, but I drew up to 100. Drew one winter out from, well, worked first winter was in Fort Jack Mitchell down there, mind the Thomas? And we went into the camp, it was 8 miles, and we drew 4 miles. And then there was a topping off there, and they came in 8 miles from the depot. Used to always go around by Jocko. They were drove the opposite way, and they were drove to Jocko and then loaded on the trains and taken back down to Tonga. So they changed it that winter. They drew them in 4 miles, we drew upstream, and then they come in from there. But the first winter I was there, poor Waddy Ferguson was fired that winter, and I got steam.
Eh?
He was fired. No wonder he's fired. I was down shoveling Skidby, put me shoveling Skidby. And it was right at a branch. They were up in a branch road, you see. And the ice road went right past the Skidby I was shoveling. But this branch road went up in about over a half a mile. Never else that road up there. And they put in, that was one gang. They put the gang that Waddy was in up on that road. And there was a great big tree, great big pine tree right at the top of this, and we're downhill, you see, from there down onto the ice road. And I guess I was there for about 3 days shoveling. The snow was about dipped to that fridge there that winter. And you have a mine shoveler about 6 foot wide on each side of the skidway. Yeah. And shoveling skidways off, and there was that on it, you know, that much. I guess it must have been 3,000 logs there. And I seen every time the body come down that hill, instead of swinging away from the tree in the first place, he'd go sideways like this, and then the first thing he'd come slam bang in the tree. And he used to strike his front bumper every time he struck the corner of the load. And it shifted it, you see. The load, you take one of them big loads and hit a tree coming sideways. And then when he'd come down to the foot, he couldn't make the turn. And he put 3 loads over there before he was fired. He put one the night before. No, he put one at the second trip at noon, and then the last trip at night he put another one. And then he come out in the morning, he put his other one, and he come out ahead of 2 gangs behind him, and the whole 2 gangs were hung up. They had 3 team on the Brocken line. Double purchase on the Broughton Line table. Well, right across from Copper Road, there'd be chunks of ice come outside that table. You know, I just rode it right through there, it didn't enough power on to get out of it. Makes you fire. And I was shoveling skidways and whatever, where they done it, no, I was young. And he told me, he said, you come on in, he said, at noon. I thought, sure as fire, they were going to let a gang go. And they hadn't let a gang go, mind you. 35 men. And we went in there way late. And the walking boss was out of Tonga that winter, and right at the station where we got off. And I went and asked him. He said, no work in there. He said, in a week or so, he said, we're letting 35 men go. He said, as soon as the main roads are cut, he said, letting them go. Quit cutting. Well, they didn't let them go that quick. They kept them a couple of weeks longer. But Alec Johnson Fred and I went up. We were working for Dempsey down here, mine stone making in the city of California. He went up there. And he said, well, I said, I come back, and I left him, and I come back and I told the boys, Fred and Alec, I said, you know, a day's work there. Oh, and work was scarce. And I had a little bit of money, and Alec did too, but Fred had no more, he was broke. Well, we couldn't run too long either. We weren't far off in boat, but I went back and I told him, I said, I said, there was a fellow down in the fall from up here, from that camp. I said, Mitchell's camp. And I said, he was up through Madawaska trying to hire men. And I said, left word there, if any man come from there, for to come up and come into the camp anyway. He said, what's your name? And I told him my name. He said, did you know it was Huey Ferguson?
Hey?
Huey Ferguson. He was down in the fall, you see. And I got a livery and went from all over Madawaska to get men. He only got a couple. Men were scarce, but work was scarce too then. That's late. It was getting scarce, but it was earlier than that Huey come. He said, you know Huey Ferguson? I said, yeah, he comes from the same place, Madawaska. He said, where's the other two lads? I said, he come from there too. Well, he said, I'll give you a letter and you go and head in. God was glad. It was 8 miles in. So he gave us a letter. We went in. And Mitchell kept us. But it finally ran on till they were letting this 35 men. There were about 3 weeks before they let them go. And by gosh, I wasn't working on the main road with them then. I was with Jim McConnell. He was snow plowing with a big deep plow, you know. And they kept him on there for cutting stubs when the plow would go over them if there was a stub and they'd leave it. And I stayed, he come to the door that night in the morning and he said, there's 35 men going out of here, out of this camp. And he said, I'll call their names out. And he started calling their names out. And I was so sure that he called mine out, I stayed in. I knew he called Alec Johnson's and friends out. And I stayed in the camp. So after all the men went to work then, it wasn't called out, they went to work, all but me. I didn't know my name wasn't called out, I was sure, I wasn't too sure why. But he come back in, he said, what are you doing here? You mind how, he used to say something
Jack
funny,
Nixon.
yeah,
Yeah.
funny things, he called them sleighs, he called them sways.
Twist.
And the lake, he called it a wake. And horses, he called them horses or something. But he said to me, he said, what are you doing in here? And oh, the look he took at, he didn't mean half that, you know. So he said, what are you doing in here? Well, I said, I thought my name was called out. Well, he said, you better get down that wake or it will be called out. Well, so I guess I was probably about 10 miles down. I got out and poor Fred and Alec went away. They went away up around Erco Falls somewhere. They went into camps all along the line, they couldn't get much. And I stayed there when Waddy was fired to give me the team. He told me to go in at noon. I used to lunch with another gang there, out. And he said, you come in, he said, and bring your shovel with you. I was sure I was going then. But he fired Waddy, and Huey jumped, Huey Ferguson, and Bob jumped, and Archie Dool jumped. And you see, Huey Ferguson and Archie Dool were driving lead teams too. And Bob wasn't, but he was next. And Bob should have been, he was the best one of the bunch. And gosh, and Bob was with
Bob Dool.
Bob Ferguson.
Oh, yes, yes.
The team split to the team.
That's one of the whole outfit.
But he let them go, and George Ferguson was there, but George didn't jump. He stayed. And after dinner, oh, I was sure I was going. And the other fellows who got their time went out, see right off. And I was still left there and didn't know what to do. I was so sure that I was going. But anyway, he came around and he said, you ever drive a train? And I said, no. I said, I often let them out to water the horse. He said, don't you try to call me, young son of a gun. He said, I said, I'm not. He said, that's all I ever done. But he said, I'm going to give you Ferguson's team, you can try them. And I said, oh, I was only too glad to hold the team. So he said, you take Ferguson's team and go down the wake and take them sways. And he said, I'm going with you. I said, all right. I got all ready and waited about 10 or 15 minutes along. He come into the bush and they loaded me. And up where they were loading, he was at the skid base when I was loaded. But we used to take about, anywhere from 40 to 60 logs. Good loads, but it was snow road, it wasn't ice. You come down the road, a little piece ice, and then you took this other branch, and you went through that. you know where he was? Stand the back of my load. Sitting on a log, one long log sticking out, and he was sitting there, you see, and I couldn't see him, I was up on top of the load. It would take 40 logs and a load quite high too. They come to the pine tree. I stayed away out before I got to the pine tree, and then I swung towards the pine tree, and it never slewed a bit. You know, he used to come broadside, and it was just hard and smooth as floor, and just slide. And I kept way out outside. I got the runner putting you off the hard stuff and just holding me, see, cut. And then I swung. I was as far as from here to that box over there from the pine tree. And I just let them move down there. You know, in the first place, one of them roads gets to start, the team they can't hold it or they couldn't hold it. That's the thought. And down the way. And when I started down the hill, what did he do but jump out behind the big pine tree? I never knew he was on my load. But the loaders caught me about that. Because he told him all about it. He used to swear. Something he did swear.
Oh, he swore so crooked.
He went back and he told him, he said, that young Quaister, he said, no, forgot more, he said, that old bugger never knew. He said, I let go. He said, he put me a roar out the middle of his lines, he said, trailing on the ground when he was skinned.